Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Russell Hornsby for an interview today. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to meet you.
You too. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Well, let's see. Where do I start? I'm from Williamsburg, Virginia, and I ran track in college. I went to school at University of Oregon, so that's why I ended up on the West Coast. Studied film there a little bit. It's like cinema studies. It's more or less a BS major there, but it's kind of where I started to get into it. And I moved to LA dang, it'll be about 10 years in August. Time flies
Oh,
and been here ever since. And yeah, just been working on verticals only for about the last year, but been acting pretty consistently for the last five or six. Um, I'm on the side. I love rock climbing. I'm also training to be a pilot, and so yeah, I have a lot of interests outside of acting as well.
that's good. I hate heights, so flying is, iffy for me.
Yeah, the funny thing is that yeah, I totally get it. But like it's a little different when it's like not like standing like bungee jumping or standing on the edge of something. Like when you're up there, you're so in control, it's so stable that it's just kind of beautiful and cool. It's funny.
Yeah.
I think the fear of heights is actually just the fear of falling, and
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
it all translates differently.
Yeah. I mean, on a bigger plane, I'm okay, but I haven't yet gone on a little one, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
I totally get your reservations on that. They tend to get
Yeah.
tossed around a little bit and have a
Yeah.
iffier safety record.
Yes, yes. Okay. You starred in the film Those Who Inherit the Earth. What drew
Yes.
you to that project?
So that was it was an indie film in 2023, I believe it. Yeah, that's when we filmed it. It kind of released in 2024, and I had worked with that director Alec Gearhart several times before, and he kind of tends to like to work with the same people over and over, which is awesome. You always love that in
Mm.
acting because it can just produce more work and just it's a fun time working with familiar people and people you vibe with. And he's always been very efficient director. He kind of has a one man army. He writes it, films it, edits it himself for the most part. So he can do things very very low budget and
Mm.
but use great actors and get a lot of bang for the buck. And I've just always found that he's very reliable and just it's just always been a good experience working with him. So when he contacted me about that role, which is not a good character, by the way, but I tend to play some villains occasionally. I was all for it because it's always a good time and he always gets it out there.
Yeah, and it's so good working with people, It's just, the
Totally.
collaboration is more freeing, I think,
For
when you
sure,
get
it's
to.
relaxing. You already have an idea of how they work
Mm.
and what to expect. There's part of the adventure is, mind you, like meeting new people on set and working with new people. And frankly, I've been lucky. I've had pretty much only good experiences, but there always is that kind of like, the potential for things to go wrong when there's the unknowns. And so working with the same people over and over again is usually a good experience.
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay. Was there a moment on that set that really stood out to you?
On that set, probably I have a line in there is a pretty violent scene. We play a trio of basically serial killers in it, and there's a scene with a little girl actor, and of course we're very safe with the girl actors, and I had a scene where it wasn't in the script, but I was able to improvise something with her, and I think I found a great balance of something that was like edgy, but not overboard. It wouldn't scare her, wouldn't be inappropriate. And that's obviously incredibly important when working with any
Mm.
child actors, really any actors in general. You don't want to be cross any line. But that was cool because Alec just let me improvise. And I really love that on a set, the flexibility, because you sometimes find some of the best moments and the best things when you're just kind of allowed to be in a moment and go. So that was a cool scene in that, and it's used, and I also have these goofy glasses on in it. I look a little different than I normally do in set. So that to me was probably the coolest one, and it really played on screen really well. Because I'd never worked with a child actor before too. So that was
Mm.
that was the interesting part. Like how do I take this really serious content and make it like a safe environment and not, make it convincing but not overboard,
Yeah. And a
There's a
whole new learning experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. What usually draws you into a script?
Well, I don't always have a choice of the scripts I do. They're
Mhm.
kind of just sent to me, for an audition sides. And, honestly, for most verticals, I'm just gonna be blunt, they're not the most artistically engaging at times,
Yeah.
I hope that changes eventually. They kind of broaden the scope, but right now, that's in vertical world, is, what they're doing is working. For me, it's just something that's challenging that I get into, and it's a character that I can like kind of really, when I'm reading it, I feel for them, or I can, and that's how I know I'm not going to have to act as much, because it's something that like it's exciting to explore and see how we can make this, how we can bring it off the page. Not every script is like that. And of course, it's exciting reading stuff that's like action scenes, cool sets, cool settings. How are they going to do this? How are we going to make this work? That's cool too. If it's like adventurous and bold, I like that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people love the stunt work. So
Yeah,
if you get to do a bit of that, then you all
stunts is
in.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Are you more instinct based or do you like to try and plan things out on set?
I think I'm actually kind of a mix of both. And also,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it depends on the director. Um,
Yeah.
like some of them are flexible and will allow you to just kind of do things in the moment that might not necessarily be exactly as written, but some are very rigid and they want to rehearse a lot. And then it's hard to be spontaneous. That is kind of nice a little bit when you do rehearse a lot because you work out the kinks and it can be smooth. So I think I'm just a mix of both. It depends on who I'm working with, really. Um, if you're allowed to improvise, that's awesome, but then also it can, take you in a different direction than where it needs to
Yeah.
go. So I think it just my answer to that in short is just depends on the director and how they like to work, and then I can kind of go either way.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Okay. How do you usually start building a character?
Um, I uh I basically make it very simple, unless it's like very, very different than like a character actor or something. But I don't tend to play those roles as much. I tend to just simplify it and this what would I do and how does this make me feel? And it's that way it's coming from a place from home right here. I don't have to like go in all these different directions to bring something out. It's just here to there, And
Mhm.
I try to learn, obviously learn the lines, learn the script, know what's happening, and just, you know, know what my character would do in each situation. And in
Mhm.
many ways, what I would do. Like if someone says this to me, it makes sense I would respond in this way, something like that. And
Yeah. Makes
yeah.
it sound more natural.
Yeah, I did a class where I wrote down massive backstories for the characters, and
Mhm.
I think that's great in theater. But
Yeah.
at the fast pace that film moves nowadays, I just can't, you can't really implement that in like auditions, every audition. And honestly, things move so fast now that you kind of just have to be able to wing it certain times and just take whatever you can bring to it and hope, and if that works, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. People do it so differently. I've seen so many people go like really into a backstory and
Yeah.
plan out like this whole thing, and then some people
Yeah.
just go in and I guess it depends what works for you.
Yeah,
So,
and what you're doing too. Like if you're in like
mm,
a comedy or like some like a vertical, I can't speak for other vertical actors, but from my experience, I don't think most of them, at least like practically, are that intense on the backstories. Some of them
hmm.
might say they are, to be like the artiste, but at least in my experience working with them, most people are like very instinctual and they'll just take the script, the day of and just kind of know what they're gonna do, and if they're familiar with the character, they'll just do it. They don't have to write down a novel about their backstory.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess it depends on how much time you have prior to it as well.
Absolutely. Like you see all these things about these professional actors, like, Timothy Chalamet or Matt, these people have years of preparation, but none of us get that. we have a week. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes, you know, it's a luxury to be able to, and also a luxury to have that work pay for itself eventually if you're on a major stage. But realistically, you have to move very fast, and I think being efficient with it is in many ways better than trying to overdo it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get them. I get that. All
Yeah.
right. Do you like oh, we already kind of answered this one. I was to say, do you like sticking closely to the script or playing around with it when you can? But you've already said you like playing
Yeah,
around with it.
yeah, I'll just say stick to it, but also be able to ad lib a little bit, and you
Mm.
know, as long as it goes ad lib as much as you want, improv as much as you want, as long as it sticks to the direction of the script. But don't
Yeah.
just totally fly off the wheel and go somewhere else because then you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, just don't change the story.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like I'm not the director, I'm not the producer. It's not my job. It's not my place to change that. So
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay, so what's harder for you, emotional scenes or more technical ones?
emotional for sure. Uh, you know, it just depends on the person. I've gotten better with it over time as an actor. I just feel like I've gotten more in touch with emotions and be able to, and just a lot of that though is simply about relaxation. It's hard to be genuinely emotional on set when you're have the pressure and the camera and like a schedule to keep and multiple takes. That's what's hard. Um, and you know, if there's people have a million different ways to go about, you know, getting genuine emotion. I'm not convinced everyone is always genuinely emotional when acting. I think people are very good at faking it, and that's probably necessary to
Yeah.
make the schedule so you're not waiting all day to shoot one scene, you know. But for me, emotional, yeah. And that helps actually when we are given time and allowed to improv a little bit because it allows you to
Mm.
sit in it and think about it instead of having to be so rigid.
I assume you wouldn't want to get that emotional on set every day anyway. You want to be able to fake it. So,
Yeah, not every day. I mean, luckily, depending most things don't require that.
yeah.
The vast majority don't require that. I think the female roles tend to require, especially in verticals, require a way more difficult range of emotions and extremes than at least the main roles for men. We're all kind of just like brooding,
Yes.
like, you know.
Yes, look stern and look good.
Yeah, it looks stern and sexy and just like, you know, it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What's something about acting that took you a while to figure out?
Let's see. Just getting out of my own head. And I think
Mm.
most actors will agree with this. And just relaxing and just being confident. Um,
Yeah.
it is hard to have that voice in you because you know if you have any sort of self-consciousness or anything like that or any because everyone wants to do well. That's the problem. You're like, am I? And so then you're like, you want to be good, but that gets in your way because you're thinking about being good. And that was me. It still is me. You know, I think, you know, I still, you know, everyone, because we care about it. So we want to be good. And that's the thing I've tried to shake is just not caring and just do the job. And then it just takes care of itself. But man, I've had, especially when I first started out, I yeah, I was in my head pretty hardcore. And it, you know, you can feel the nerves, you can feel the, you know, the dry mouth. It's just it gets in your way so hard. And now, you know, as of the last few years, I've gotten way better at that. And that's just experience, I think, has helped. Really it.
Yeah. The more you get comfortable being in that environment.
100%. You know the drill. You know how to block, you know what to expect from other actors, you know how to connect. You feel confident being there instead of like worrying about if you're doing a good job, you know, and or
Yeah.
what, you know, what the camera or grips think, you know, it's just any of that stuff.
Yeah. I guess working with the same people, like you said before, would also help with that because you become comfortable working
Yeah,
with them.
totally. Although sometimes it can make it harder because you know them on a such a if you know them well, you know them on such a more personal level outside of the character that it's hard to see them as the as the character. You see them, you know,
Mm.
you see them as your friend, you know, and
Yeah.
that's a challenge too. But generally, again, that's something that with experience you get better at. I remember actually with Tate Doppler, who you've
Hmm.
interviewed. one of the first scenes I ever had with him, I didn't even know Mo, but for some reason we just couldn't look at each other without laughing. And it made, I don't know what it was, the dialogue or something, and it was so hard to get through that scene because every time my eye line and his hit, we were just like, just trying not to. And that's like something you can't really, it just happens sometimes. It's just something to do with like the other person. I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh, I love that though. I love that.
yeah, it does make it fun. And eventually you have to pull it together and get through it. But yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah.
definitely working with people is fun. It's just it has its caveats.
Yes. Yes. All right. Um, what's a piece of advice you've received which actually changed how you work?
Well, for one, for auditions, I'll say this because a lot of our, unless you're one of the lucky bit who just get direct offers all the time, which is awesome because then you don't have to audition.
Mm,
That's kind of the dream. But
yeah.
it's just for auditioning, just do your best and forget about it is basically
Mm,
the best because I've heard this from different versions of this from a lot of people. Just bring, read the script, do your best version of it, and that's what you're selling. If that's not what they want, that's not your problem.
yeah.
And then just forget about it. Like it's hard to do, especially if you think you nailed something or if you really want to roll, but it'll kill you if you just hold your life on every audition because you're not going to get everyone. It's just that simple. You can be the best actor and not get it a million times over for a million other reasons. You just don't fit their vision of it.
Mm,
Too short, too tall, too young, anything like that. So just not hanging on to auditions and um, that's probably the best one that for longevity as an actor because if you like bank every audition that you're going to get that role, you're basically setting yourself up for consistent like disappointment based on a
yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
factors that you can't control. And there's going to be a lot of
Mm,
people telling me you're like, oh no, you always got to be positive, which is true. You have to be positive, but realistic as well, to maintain
yes.
your realistic sanity and motivation as an actor. You have to understand what you're getting into.
Yes. And yeah, the biggest thing is don't take it personally because, like you said, you could just not fit that character. It's got nothing to do with your acting. It's
Yeah.
just not what they're looking for.
And it can be tough because we don't get feedback most of the time. So a lot of times you don't know
Mm,
if you did something wrong or the reasons. So that can get to you. But then you just have to realize that what's going on in the casting room, it's like it's not about you generally. Hopefully not. But
yeah.
yeah, so it's just that's the best advice I've been given is just and also from acting, just listen to the other partner.
Hmm.
That's a Meisner thing. Jeff Daniels, famous actor, pretty famous actor. I met him in person one time, and he just said, "Whatever you do, don't act in front of a mirror." And what
Mm,
that means is that you're not even seeing or listening to the other person. You're just thinking about yourself and what you're going to say and what you look like, and that's like the antithesis of good acting. It's just you have to be connected to the other partner. So just be there in present and listen. That's really
yeah.
it's one of the best things I've heard.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the same thing happens. I was speaking to a producer before, and they put their short film into like a film festival,
Mhm.
and it didn't get in, but they also don't get the feedback as to why, which can be hard.
Yeah, I've been in short films that didn't make it in, and the directors are bummed, and I thought it was good, and I see other ones getting in that I didn't think were as good, but it's all subjective. It's
Hmm.
all,
Yeah.
you just exactly you just when you care about something, it's very hard not to think about those things. Like what was it? Why didn't I get it? Why didn't it get in? Why didn't I get the role? And it's probably good to be constructive about that and hold yourself to a high standard, but also just got to realize that it's not things you can really control a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Do you ever feel like a character sticks with you after filming?
A scene will, but not a character for me.
Okay.
I mean,
Mm,
maybe I just haven't done fully immersed roles over a long period of time where I've had to be in a dark place for a long period of time. That might be different. But in general, the characters I've played, when you're done, when they say cut, it's back to real life. I'm
yeah.
not driving home as that character, but
Yeah.
But scenes, if you have a very intense scene, where say you had to be abusive or you had to yet be very angry or very sad, yes, that sticks with you a little bit afterwards, for sure.
You try and find your way out of it again.
Yeah, it just and that happens with time. You just keep living your life and real life takes over and then, you just move on. But scenes have definitely stuck with me. Stuff that's happened in scenes, the subject matter. It's not always fun.
Yeah.
You're part of being an actor is bad things have to happen to make things dramatic a lot of times, and people have to do those bad things on, in the script, and they serve their purpose and
Yeah.
in the script, of course, but
Yes.
and uh, and yeah, that can stick with you. But again, it's temporary. You have to, if you can't get past that stuff, like you're gonna go insane as an actor, and it's not gonna be practical for you. You have to be able to move on and separate it.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever approached a role the wrong way at first and had to adjust?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, basically, when you read a script and the first time you're reading through, if you haven't been given many notes or direction from the writer or director, you can't help like anything. You read it with your own idea of what's happening and what the character looks like and is saying. And unless you have a very, very good understanding of the script, it can be easy to get slightly on the wrong track and picture your character being something that he's not entirely intended to be, because that's
Mhm.
you haven't gotten any real direction yet. And then on set, I've taken it in and thought I was going to do it this way, and turns out that's not quite what they wanted. And then that's where you have to be able to make a quick adjustment and just throw your own, you know, uh, conceptions of what it's supposed to be like kind of out the window unless you
Yeah.
really think it's going to be beneficial. But still, you got to be careful with that. You can't just argue with the director because you think you're right.
Mm.
It's never
Yeah.
you're not you're not in charge. So
No, that's one benefit to rehearsals, I guess, because you
Mhm.
know which way they want you to go.
Absolutely, that's one thing I do like about rehearsing, like a little bit before a scene, because you do work out the kinks. And then
Mm.
you're then actually oddly enough be able to be way more free because you just know the kind of the stadium you're playing in. You're just yeah, you're not going to be there. You're not going to have to redo multiple takes because you went the wrong way or your blocking was off or you just the rehearsal is good in that regard of just being more efficient. And when the cameras are rolling, you're not wasting takes. It's already been worked,
Yeah.
things have been worked out, and you're ready to do it right.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of experience with table reads beforehand, or did they just throw you in?
You know, I haven't always done table reads for these, and usually they're virtual now. So
Mm.
that's pretty easy. It's just like we're doing right now, is literally how they go.
Mm.
I've done a few table reads. They're pretty fun. But I haven't done a lot of them, frankly. I mean, I just think a lot of times nowadays, the way how fast things move and how busy people are, they don't allot the time always. Some people do, of course, but to just get everyone together and, I think now it's virtual, if anything, so that's easy. So you have and so that's fun when they do allow that or when they do want to do that, but it doesn't happen every time.
Yeah. I think it just helps you get to know the people you're working with a little bit more, gets you
Yeah.
to know the script that little bit better, even if it's just like once, just that
Yeah, the
little bit
firefighter
interaction.
vertical I worked on, which is probably my favorite one. It's called Hold Me Tight, Mr. Firefighter. I played the villain in that. And we had a table read before that. I'd never met anyone. And
Mm.
we automatically were like laughing, like just
Mhm.
it diffused some of the unknowns, some of the tension. And I think that was really helpful because I was like,
Yeah.
I already vibe with these people. Like I already like what I'm getting into before I'm even on set. So I think in that
Yes.
regard, that was very beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's beneficial for everyone to, like I said, just at least once. I think that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
good, especially for new people,
Yeah.
who haven't done many of these before.
Yeah,
But
totally. I think it can definitely diffuse to get a little face time with usually the director or producers, whoever's on it, and then the other main cast. I think that's only a positive.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's something you're still trying to improve as an actor?
I'm still trying to improve. just being fully present. Um,
Hmm.
just and part of that is just preparation, and sometimes it's hard to do when you have like a crap ton of dialogue. The next day you just can't quite learn all of that. If something like a vertical, which shoots very fast, and unless you have a photographic memory, sometimes it's you just don't sleep the night before, which is I don't recommend. uh,
Mm.
you won't retain anything anyway. But just to be fully present, and I still need to work on just being fully present and not kind of being a little bit more just fluid and instinctual. I think it's easy to fall into a trap of being able to say your lines and sound good, and that can work for so
Yeah.
long. But to be truly a good actor, you need to be instinctual, and it shows. It plays on screen when people have those moments that are truly sporadic and they're in the moment and not thinking about their next their next line.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
I can definitely work on that for sure. Uh, but I have gotten quite a bit better at it with experience, of course, like and hope to always improve,
Yeah. I think in our everyday lives, it's hard to be present anywhere because there's so many little distractions everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. We're always looking at our phones and everything we do is on our phones. I mean, like I email my, like every like everything's sent electronically. Everything is electronic. I still print out scripts though, but
Yeah.
I like the hard copy for sides and scripts. And not many people do that anymore, I don't think. But yeah, no,
Hmm.
you're right. It's just yeah, there's never a time where we just really sit around and just don't not looking at something, is there? It's like we're
Hmm.
just sitting there just kind of enjoying our surroundings.
Yeah. I've had many discussions about how people do their scripts, whether it's on paper or, on their phone and things. And a lot of people have different ways of doing that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's no best way, I don't think. It's whatever works for them. It's
yeah. All right. Is there anything you want anyone to know about you or your work?
let's see. About me or my work. Not particularly. I mean, I'm like if you're familiar with what I've done, that's great. I'm just
Hmm.
more excited about future possibilities. That's what I think I'm capable of doing a lot more than what I have done.
Hmm.
And and that's that only thing I'd say about that is it remains to be proven if I'll be allowed to you know do that. So
Yeah.
it's just I'm excited for whatever's next, and yeah, the comedic part of some of the stuff I've done is probably some of my proudest moments, simply
Hmm.
because it was just so fun. And anytime you have the
Yeah.
crew bowling and the other actors, you have a great vibe. That's probably my favorite thing, a favorite part about like, if anyone works with me, you know that I'm just a team player and I'm just there to do my job but make it fun, spread good cheer.
Yeah. 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 That's good. All right. Is there anything you want casting directors to see in you that maybe they haven't yet?
I haven't played a lead role actually yet. Um,
Hmm.
and I know I'm fully capable of it, but in verticals they just tend to cast the same people over and over again a lot of the times, and I'd like to see them take more chances on new faces who might be capable of it, and that's just really what I'd like more of is just a little bit more kind of diversity in the lead roles in verticals, because for one there's a massive pay gap between supporting and lead. And
Yeah.
also, it's for most of us down here grinding, working 6-page auditions for lead roles consistently, and then they just give it a direct offer to someone. It's at a certain point, the work you want the work to be rewarded a little bit. And I think there's plenty more people out there who are capable of doing these roles. So I just I'd like casting directors to be a little bit more open of like hiring new talent instead of the same 20 vertical leads that you see recycled
Hmm.
constantly. But I get it. It's
Yeah.
fitting, and it's familiarity. It's like it's a catch-22. It's a they like your work, but they won't know if they like your work until you work with them. So it's
Hmm.
yeah. So that's just the industry as a whole.
Yeah. I think it goes the same with the scripts. Some people are just too worried to take the leap into something different because they
Yeah.
know what works and what sells.
Yeah.
And the same goes for you guys. They know that that actor works. But I
Yeah.
agree with you. I really wish that that expand. There is so much talent in background people, there are
Yeah.
like supporting leads. I've seen it. There is so much talent, and I wish they'd get the chance to be in bigger
Yeah.
roles.
Yeah. It's yeah, we all have our opinions on it, and of course, there's a reason they do what they do. I mean, they do what sells. It is a business. They're not, it's hard to take a
Mm.
chance. They,
Yeah,
know that people aren't willing to take chances because, there's money at stake. There's a lot at stake. So I do get it. I totally get it. But it would just be fun to see some more opportunities. For if they do invite you out to audition, to actually entertain the people who are actually auditioning instead of just direct offers all the time.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, how do you make similar roles feel unique?
There's always something like even the smallest scene, even if you're playing the same type of character, there's always some funny thing you can do, some funny way to say something, or a lot of times in rehearsals, you figure this out. You're like, oh wow, this is actually hilarious. So even if it's the same character, but very similar characters, the scenes are always different. So there's always something different I say or something different I do or some different setting, and that's what makes it interesting. It's not just the character, it's the setting, it's the script, it's all the other little things that make it just different and interesting, and then you can find fun things to make it, more enjoyable there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how do you stay present on set with all the distractions like camera crew and time pressure?
That's just a mindset. I mean, at least for me, I get into when I'm there, I'm fully engaged. I'm there.
Mm.
So, if there is a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes we do get distracted. Just actors, messing around with each other. Just like shooting the shit, and then but it's really just a mindset. Like if I'm there, I'm focused. I want to get it done, and it's just I think it's maybe my athletic background. It's like showing up for a
Mhm.
game, showing up for a competition. Like that's what you're doing, and you're fully engaged. You don't need a lot of, maybe I will have distractions here and there, but I can lock in like that. It's never that
Mhm.
bad. I don't have too much of an issue with focus on set. So, um,
That's good.
yeah. So I'm sure people have their own little ways to do it. But for me, it's just being on set is really all I need.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. All right, if you could strategically plan your next three roles, what would they look like to you?
Okay. I'd like to play one campy villain again because they're
Mhm.
just so fun. One
Yeah,
antagonist, maybe not like an absolutely terrible one, because some of the scripts I've read recently, some of the dialogue has been over the top, like just horrible. And
yeah.
I don't want to necessarily do that. That's not that fun. Like you can't even make that funny. It's like, and maybe it's not intended to be funny, but it's also, it is campy. So just a kind of a campy, fun villain and kind of a more comedically inclined project. I want to do one of those. I want to do a lead role. I don't care,
Yep.
doesn't really matter what it is, because they're usually one of like five things anyway. Um, but just a lead role. Yeah. And and I want to do a role with true vulnerability and
Mm.
serious maybe loss or serious stakes, stuff that I can really dig into. So
Yeah.
campy villain, lead role, and then just a real deep, serious, dramatic role.
Yep. No, that's good. I like that. All
Yeah.
right. If you had the power to change something in the vertical world, what would it be and why?
Well, I already touched on kind of the lead roles and how they cast them and
Mm.
pay gap. I would change that, but I would just broaden the subject matter a little bit. There's always a CEO, there's always a werewolf, there's mafia, there's there's I'm a little too old for these, but there's like the like kind of the high school hockey or those type of
Oh,
things.
young adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
young adult ones. Yeah, I'm a little out of that group because I'm in 30s, but yeah, and I think they are actually trying to. They are starting to broaden, like real shorts at least seems to be definitely. investing in bigger, different style projects, like bigger budget stuff. And
Mm.
I think that would be cool. Maybe more of like an action adventures type one. Maybe not. It's not always like kind of a soap opera between, an heir and an heiress. It's like,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's just slightly different styles. I don't know if that would work with the format, with the 2 minute hooks. That's another thing to consider, but just slightly more variety in the subject matter and the scripts, I think. And then of
Mm.
course, just the casting for the lead roles. And
Yeah.
all my friends who are consistently working as the leads. I'm not trying to step on your
No.
vibe here because I love you guys, but it is frustrating to try to break into that. When
Yeah.
they have
I mean,
another
I've
one.
spoken to a lot of people about this and comedy, they will want comedy, you
Yeah,
know.
that's another
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, comedy. That I guess that's a tie into my, just kind of broadening it. Yeah, actual comedy, and some of them are kind of funny, but I actually like a dedicated comedy would be good.
Yeah. And some also like horror, but I mean, there's been a few, but not a lot.
Yeah, I was in
Um,
my first one ever was a Net Shorts one that was kind of a horror one. It was called Python
mm,
Attack. Run. That's actually was the title. And that was an
yeah.
adventure that's for sure. But overall, fond memories of it. But that was actually Net Shorts' departure kind of attempt at that. And I'm not actually not sure if
Mm.
it was successful or not, might have been. But that was kind of unique. And that was actually my first one. So that was cool. So they
That one
are
was with
doing.
Shay, wasn't it? Was
Yeah,
that with
yeah. It
Shay?
was with
Yeah.
Shay, Vanessa, Carolina, and a number of others. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that was cool. So they do happen, but they're not the norm.
Yeah. I keep telling everybody I want a sci-fi vertical because I think the hook
Yes.
for that would
Oh,
be great.
that would be rad. That would be
Mm.
awesome. Yeah, I agree 100% there. I like sci-fi. They would just have to invest a little bit more in like the production value of it, probably, but
Yes,
they could do it. You know,
they
uh,
could.
they could 100% do it. So yeah, that would be a great one. Sci-fi one. Not sure if like a war one would make sense, or they've been kind of doing scenes like that, but a
Mm.
historical one would be cool. They've been
Yeah.
diving into those themes a little bit, but not sure it's actually like period pieces they're doing. It's like it would be cool to have like a medieval one or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some period piece ones, but they're not like, yeah, not like based on like a historical thing.
Yeah, it's like themed. It's like a cowboy theme, but it's still the same basic premise.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so many ideas. So many
Yeah,
ideas.
I know. I gotta write these down.
Yep. Yes, definitely. All right. What do you think makes a scene unforgettable?
Oh man, it's just put quite simply, if you just know your stuff, have great chemistry, and it just really just if it works, that's that simple.
Mm.
If it works, everyone's doing their job, you get to where you need to be, boom, it's magic. That's it
Yeah.
right there to put it simply. People aren't screwing up, everyone's on the same page and you have good chemistry with your co-stars. That's that's what it's all about. That's unforgettable.
Mm.
That's the best
Yeah.
experience you can have as an actor, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's good. If you could acquire one skill set from an actor that you've worked with, what would it be and why?
Hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to think because I think some of the actors I've worked with, they do a great job of just handling a ton of new dialogue. And even if they don't really know it or they mess up, it just does, it's kind of seamless. Like they'll mess up and it's not a big deal. They just like revert back, they do it again. And I do this too, but I think just knowing how to perform a lot, like a ton of dialogue and not get overwhelmed. That's really the thing. It's just not to get overwhelmed by a large amount of stakes, material, and just time on set. So I that's one thing as a vertical lead you're gonna have to do. And supporting too other roles as well, but they're there every day. So it's just to not get overwhelmed by and just have the stamina to get through the day and not just see your performance decline. I think I've seen some of the leads do that, some many other actors, and I think that's very impressive. And it's
Mm,
and so that's what I try to do as well. So,
yeah. Yeah, of course. Okay, I have two more questions.
yeah.
What's your funniest moment on set?
Oh God. That's gonna be a hard one. There's been so many. Uh, I might actually have to think about this one for a second because there's not like a single one that stands out because there's been a lot.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot of like pretty funny ones, but not like I don't think ones that were they were just like, jaw-droppingly funny. I'd say okay. I'd say on that Python vertical that we did. Uh,
Mhm.
there's a scene where the Python, which of course is all like AI or CGI, comes through the window, breaks through a window, and we're all supposed to react to it. And actually, never mind. No, I'll move forward real quick. Same project. Okay, this is the funniest. So, so we're supposed to, the Python comes in, and then we're supposed to all run out of the house. And the director tells us like, okay, just do it. Just kind of go over the top on this one, like run different ways, or just like go nuts. Just take it to 200.
Mhm.
And so we did that. And I did this crazy run where I'm like, running like this. I'm like playing a ranger in that one, like one of the main supporting roles. And we have the
Mhm.
best time doing that. Like each person, Shay was on this one, everyone, he has, everyone, they're like running into each other. Just so much, the more you watch it, the funnier it is. And then we reset and we're thinking we killed it. Like, oh, that's like the best. We're laughing our asses off. And then the director comes in, they're like, okay, the client hated that.
Oh no.
And we're like, are you kidding me? That was like the best part of the whole shoot.
Oh no.
It was just so ridiculous, so kind of over the top, but like also just hilarious. You have to realize this, it's all CGI, the Python. So we're screaming at nothing. It's just
Hmm.
look at the BTS of it. It's hilarious. I can watch that over and over again. And that was probably my favorite one, among many others. But it's just something that's so funny that we thought was perfect, and then the client just hated it, and so we had to redo it, and
They
just be
wanted like a more realistic kind of running away, didn't they?
yeah, yeah. We def okay, and I kind of I don't blame them because we were kind of
Mm.
like, but it also like it would have been people would have just been like entertained by it. But yeah,
Hmm.
they wanted more kind of genuine, the normal like horror, like oh my God, you run and
Hmm.
that's that. We're- yeah, that was funny. I can send
I'd
you
love to see that. I'd love to
yeah, I
see
can
that
send you the
footage.
video. It is a classic. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. All right. Okay. What do you want people to understand about you through your work?
That it's that I am serious I'm a serious actor, but at the same time, um, I'm not a serious person in that way, if it makes sense. Like
Hmm.
I always want to be the best, like make everybody's day on set like a good day. Like, and I always feel like I'm the best version of myself on set. And so even if I'm playing a terrible character or like that's not who I'm going to be on set.
Yeah.
I'm always there to have a good time, do the job, but also just make friends and just make it just make something happen. It's
Mm.
that's kind of my general idea of it. And I can't stand the people who act too important or they're just have a chip on their shoulder. That doesn't help anyone out. I love the crew. I love like the cast. It's the whole thing is it's just what makes it awesome. Is just that it's a team sport. And
Yeah.
and so that's my MO is just to always, make everybody feel like a somebody on set and uh just have a good time, and
Yeah.
but not at the expense of doing the job, of course. I don't want to I'm not gonna
Yeah.
joke around, but yeah, that's really my approach to it.
Yeah, of course. That's great. I think everybody appreciates that too because
Yeah.
it just makes everything more comfortable and yeah.
Yeah, and people want to work with people they want to hang out with, because you're spending
Mm,
a lot of time together on set. So if, no one's going to look forward to going and sharing scenes all day with someone who's an a-hole, it's like it's just not,
mm,
that makes it just a toxic work environment. So luckily I have not encountered that too much. Virtually everyone I've worked with is awesome. So, I know it's out
yeah.
there, but knock on wood.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yes.
experienced it really. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to leave that project with somebody you've worked with going, I really want to work with them again.
100%. That's what so much of it is about, I think, is just building
Mm.
relationships and always making a good impression.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for having this interview with me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So nice meeting you. And
You
yeah,
too.
awesome. Can't wait to see it.
No problem at all. I will talk to you again very soon.
Awesome. Have a nice day. Yeah, I guess it's morning over there. So have a nice day.
It is. Thank you. Thanks.